Do it.
Okay, fans of the Monday Movie Club, here we are. Is this number 29? 29?
Sure.
All right, so we went back to the movies this week to see Thor, Love and Thunder. Some of us saw it last week. I saw it today. I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with me is Joel Fenster. Sorry we're keeping you awake, Joel. Mark Wotzitz-Gartner, who decided to put up a graphic. And that's a bottle opener there that he's holding. Annie King, who didn't even want to look for her bottle opener. And Amy Goldman, you should have at least opened a bottle. Go get a bottle and open it. Show
I don't have
people
any
how it
bottle.
works.
It's not a bottle opener. It's the
Yeah,
meow
all the
meow.
bottles she has to open have corks in them. All right. This is the fourth standalone Thor movie. And this one was directed by Taika David Cohen. That's his name. Who also directed the superior Ragnarok. This time Taika gives into his silliest side. This one is almost a parody of Thor movies for me. Christian Bale is the baddie here. His name is Gore. And he looks like Nosferatu crossed with the one who dare not speak his name. Voldemort.
Yes.
Harry
Agreed.
Potter.
Agreed.
I'm like, what? Okay, so we first see Al Gore dying in the desert with his daughter, who's named something.
Is irrelevant
Love?
at this point.
She's Love.
Love.
And she actually dies. And then this mighty sword finds him. Well, okay. And so he vows to kill all the gods to avenge his daughter's unnecessary death, which is not good news for Thor, because Gore is heading to the new Asgard, which is now a tourist trap. And maybe Gore has a point because the gods are mostly portrayed as buffoons who don't care what happens to the little people, like Gore's daughter. Okay, so Thor and the newly powerful Jane, how'd she get her powers?
Did you watch the
Meow
movie?
meow.
What? What happened?
They explained it in the movie.
They did? What'd they say?
When Thor and her, when the flashback, Thor and her were dating, he
Right.
talks to Mjolnir and says, protect her always, whether I'm gone or whatever.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he establishes a connection, and then when she goes to visit it at the museum, it
Yeah,
recognizes her, and
It's
they
like,
don't show it, but it
"Hey,
came alive and gave her the
hey,
power.
bitch, how you doing? All right, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that now. Okay, so so they're tasked with having to stop Gore, but the dilemma being, they see that Gore is actually correct. But what could have been an interesting dilemma is actually undercut by all the stupid jokes and the goat jokes. Good Lord, weren't the goats annoying videos like 10 years ago? Where you would watch on YouTube. all the
That
goats
was killing me
screaming?
too. I hated the goats. Yeah.
I
Oh,
fucking
good
love
Lord.
the gods.
The goats
Love
come out of
them.
the comic book, so it's not like,
Oh.
there's no precedent for them. other
Yeah,
than-
but in a comic book, you can't hear a goat.
That's it depends on who's drawing it.
Okay, and it seemed like this one had a lot more jokes than Ragnarok did, but a lot of them don't really land well enough to be actually funny jokes. And all of that is a disservice to the characters. And Valkyrie had a much better storyline in Ragnarok, and here her story is just disappointing. She even doesn't even get to be in the final battle. I guess you can only have one strong female per movie. Is that a rule for Marvel? And
Not if you watched Endgame.
Yeah.
right, and Korg too had a real role in Ragnarok. He led the uprising. Here he's just there to do the one-liners. And then we find out at the end that he has a boyfriend who had a porn stash like I did in the 80s. And that might have been an interesting subplot to meet the Korg get, but no. And I think, Thor in Endgame and Ragnarok, they showed us the goofy Thor without selling out his character, because he was suffering the weight of the world and being placed on his mighty shoulders. But here we get the impression that all his angst was because he was missing Jane. No, I don't think so. And here he's just stupid. He's almost pathetic and clueless. And when he gives the speech before the Asgard about the missing children, there's an opportunity there for him to have a real moment. And then it just becomes another one of his, he can't really give speeches, awkward moments. So I feel like there's so many missed opportunities here. And even Gore, who I think Christian Bale is great, but he could have had a kind of wake-up call as a villain. And again, he just becomes another scary face monster at the end of the movie. And it's hard to get invested in Jane's story because the movie's battles, I didn't even feel any high stakes. I was like, well, they're not going to die from this. And of course, then, spoiler alert, Jane has to make the ultimate sacrifice. I was not impressed or involved. 2.5 stars for me. It really doesn't work as a drama, and the comedy ain't all that funny. I mean, it's no Dark World, but it's very far from Ragnarok for me. Aim, you like the screaming goats?
I love the screaming goats, especially when they crashed into the planet. I loved Russell Crowe. I thought Russell Crowe was the best
Yes,
part
Russell
of the
Crowe is
movie.
very funny. Yes.
Oh my God, he was so
was very
good. I
funny.
thought I liked him better than Christian Bale. There were points with Christian Bale where I'm going to have to unfortunately blame the script, where it was so just corny, over the top. Yes, he did a great job, but he was this very one-dimensional evil guy who everybody thinks he's so great. I was like, give Russell Crowe the Oscar, not Christian Bale. I loved him.
Nobody's getting any
Oh.
fucking Oscars for this
Oh,
movie.
I know. But in my mind, if I had to give an Oscar, it's going to Russell Crowe.
Well, how about if we give an equivalent comedy Oscar to Russell Crowe?
I just thought his performance was great, not a comedy performance, just in general.
And I love how he gained weight for this movie.
He really did, and I thought, I don't think he gained weight because now he actually gets to play himself because he got fat for a long time. So he's like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? And I want the next movie to be with Zeus, not Hercules. So I hope Russell Crowe comes back.
I'm sure he'll be at least a supporting character.
Yeah.
It's his dad,
Tiki Watiki is one of my absolute favorite writers and directors. So I was disappointed. And I didn't think the movie was as loaded with humor as everybody keeps saying. And then I realized it's just because I didn't find it funny. There were so few laughs that I didn't even realize they were going for the humor half the time. Ugh. You said a couple of things that made me say, oh, I need to say something. And now, of course, I forgot. So I think I'm going to only give it 2.5 stars, which kills me because I think the only other movie I gave 2.5 stars to was Hulk. So I'm going to have to go to 2 3/4 then.
Annie, did you have fun watching it?
It's the first time I think I walked away and said, I was not satisfied. I just was not satisfied. I didn't believe the ending. Like, that just he didn't have a kid in the comic books, did he? He did not wind up being a dad. It was just.
Joel is not sure.
I'm not up to date on
it could be a
things,
current
so
stuff.
it's very possible.
Wait a minute. And then I practically wanted to leave the theater when he gave the kids the power of Thor. I'm like, are you kidding me? They might as well be Ewoks now.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, but sorry to jump in, but you just reminded me of the other thing that I loved, and I'm sure a lot of people found it stupid, but his relationship with the sentient, whatever the sword's name is.
Stormbreaker.
Stormtrooper. Loved that. I thought that was adorable. That's
When it showed up,
Oh,
like
God,
staring
yeah.
at him, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. So, well, there were some good parts. But I walked out and I'm like, no, that didn't do it for me. It wasn't true to his character. And that's my favorite character. Thor is like my favorite.
I was so excited too to see this one.
Yeah. So I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was like, oh, where's this movie going? What time is it now? How much is left? So it's a 3-star for me.
Okay.
It definitely, I did look at my watch quite a few times, like, oh, how much longer? And it was only 2 hours long. So it wasn't like, and of course, 20 minutes of that is credits. So, Mark, you put up the graphic. You must have enjoyed it.
I did. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. But having said that, I agree with what everyone's saying. The only thing I actually hated was the damn screaming goats. That I hated the goats. Although when they crashed into the shadow planet, and then you just hear ah, that actually got me. I actually laughed out loud at that part. Having saying that, I really enjoy the story, but again, what everyone has said, you're not wrong. I'm not going to disagree with anything. It was too goofy for me. It definitely, if Taika had dialed it back and just made it a little bit, just like Ragnarok, and made it a bit silly, but also kept, like you said, Thor's character, it would have been so much better. But I still enjoyed the music. I enjoyed so many aspects of the movie. The comedy did hit.
All I heard was 2 songs by Guns N' Roses played over and over and over again.
Sweet Child of Mine was in it a lot. And if you listen to the Ronnie James Dio, oh my God, Rainbow in the Dark was over the credits as well, which I enjoy. What did I write here? Yeah, I loved Russell Crowe. I would not have changed a thing. He was absolutely perfect. His accent was ridiculous and over the top. Even though I agree the ending wasn't great, whatever, but at the end to have the tie-in of Sweet Child of Mine and Love and Thunder, that this entire time it's really about the child. I had that did get me. I did not see that coming.
I didn't get until the very end of the movie that the kid's name was Love. I thought
Me too.
was calling her his love, just like on Gilligan's Island with Lovey. That was her name.
Lovey,
Right.
exactly.
Because-
And
I don't know that that's actually her name. I think one of the things you have to remember that this whole movie is told from Korg's point of view. He's our narrator. So
I think he says, and they called them Love and Thunder as opposed to
He said that.
Camille and Thor, whatever her real name is. Camille, I don't know why I went there, but and also Sweet Child of Mine, right? Because that's the child. I had no idea, and I don't think that was really in the comics, but I don't know. I'll defer to Joel on that. And I didn't
was not in the comics.
Okay.
The song.
The song. And yeah, all of a sudden, everyone can carry Stormbreaker. He throws it at Heimdall's kid. He's throwing Love his holding it. Everyone now is worthy when Captain America couldn't even lift it at first. That was bullshit. And also the kid, the Heimdall's kid's changing his name to Axel too. I mean, it was like a love letter to
Guns
N' Roses. And Amy, I wanted to tell you this. Remember, go back.
Okay, I didn't even get that until you said it now.
You're kidding.
Oh, that was a total
I was like,
Axl Rose. It was,
I don't
and
get
it showed him in his room doing homework, and there was a big poster
Yeah,
of
no,
Guns
I
N' Roses.
know, but I never made the
Oh,
connection.
I thought that was
Oh,
so
it's
That was
cool.
all
Axl
tied
Rose.
in. And
Okay.
the part that I think we all hated when Thor, all the kids are fighting with Thor and they all have his power. The song that's on in the background is the ending solo from November Rain. Now, Amy, if you remember, I made you listen to that like 8 months ago and you said you hated it. So I'm sure you didn't make it to the end, but that was the solo at the end, which I love, which is like a famous guitar solo.
Funny.
What
I
else?
recognized it.
Did you?
Yeah, I know November Rain.
Okay. Every one of my
the 2
gyms.
most popular Guns N' Roses songs. Sweet Child of Mine and November Rain.
Welcome to the
this is
jungle.
awesome.
Welcome to the
Welcome to the
jungle is going to
jungle.
be.
But not as big a hit as those 2.
Welcome to the Jungle was barely released and it was in a Dirty Harry movie immediately.
Yeah, but it wasn't as big a hit. I'm
I don't
telling
even
you
know
right now.
November Rain.
November Rain was
a bigger hit.
is known as one of the greatest videos
Joe's
of all
looking
time.
out. Keep
Yeah.
going.
All right.
Welcome
Anyway,
to
all
the
I'll say is that
Welcome to the Jungle. I don't think even made the top 10.
I hear Welcome to the Jungle on the radio 10 times more than
Because you
November Rain.
listen to classic rock, you idiot.
But I would hear November Rain then too, wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't, because it's a pop song.
But same band, a couple of years apart. All right, anyway, all I'll say is that
You
at the end of the
digress.
day, I digress. Chris Hemsworth got jacked. Everyone I'm in a Facebook weightlifting gym group, and everyone's talking about the gear that he's on. Like he must have taken some decent steroids on top of working out to get that build. That's not natural. He
And
looked.
he had to eat 8 hours a day.
Yes, I heard 8 times a day. I heard of. Yeah, that's crazy.
And that butt shot was way too far away.
I mean,
For me,
it was
I'm
a
going-
great shot to see, but of course I read if that was a woman, there'd be holy hell, and I totally agree with that. So
Agreed. Agreed.
What do you mean? Holy hell that you showed a woman's butt?
if they just stripped a woman naked today, it would be like, oh.
And how the women were ogling him and saying, "Let's just wait in the background." It was cute. It was funny, but I agree that if that was reversed, that would have been ooh. Yeah. I'm going 3 and 1/3 stars. Actually, I'm going higher.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it, even though, like everyone said, it was a little bit too dumb. Some of the comedy didn't hit for me. It reminded me of an Adam Sandler movie where you have like some fantastically great parts and then some, oh my God, this is written by a 4-year-old, stupid parts. So, but it's still the entire story went out for me. So 3 1/3 stars. I enjoyed it. I will watch it again.
Oh, I'll watch it
Fabulous.
again.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
Joel
have to
already
watch
saw
it
it
again.
twice.
Wrong.
3 times.
Wrong.
Hi,
I've seen it
Joel.
once.
Joel has it on 4 formats already.
Right.
Yeah. Real quick though, he does have a daughter, debuted in 2008, and her name is Torin. That's all. That's his
Okay.
daughter.
Chris
All right,
Hemsworth.
so now I'm looking at the Guns N' Roses discography. Welcome to the Jungle only went to number 7. Sweet Child of Mine went to number 1.
Yep.
And November Rain went to number 3.
I was
So
just
there.
about to say that.
And so
Anyway.
November Rain sold enough singles to be a platinum. Welcome to the Jungle only sold gold.
I just know.
And Sweet Child of Mine was 3 times platinum.
But
So
Welcome
there.
to the Jungle was what put them on the map.
Meh.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you, Mark.
Thank you.
Never heard of it. I couldn't sing it to you if you tried.
Oh my God.
I think it's an age thing personally, because I know these songs and I have no problems with them. And
87?
Boomer.
I was listening to the radio in 87.
yeah, but you
All
won't
right,
believe that.
Joel, tell us all about how great Love and Thunder was.
Oh, I'm not going to do that. Here's what really makes me mad about this movie is that
Okay.
we spent all these other movies having to deal with one particular person complaining about all the fucking comedy in the Marvel movies for the last decade, and we can defend them till the cows come home. And this movie goes and says, fuck you. There's no way to defend this now, because that's all he's going to complain about. This is the epitome of what he's been complaining about.
Ooh,
Mr. Barry Hatrick.
oh, Barry, him.
We got to tag him on this one.
If it's done well, who cares?
But it's not done well.
Ragnarok is a very funny comedy.
I agree. The problem is it's not done well here. And I think part of the problem
Right.
with this film is that it didn't know what direction it really wanted to go in.
Exactly.
It's telling 2 to 3 different stories at the same time, and they're all competing for the tone of the film. And I don't know that it works. I know that, if you read interviews with everybody involved in the film online for the last month or so, there's more footage from this film that got cut than anything else. And you have to wonder, according to the director, we're never going to see any of it because it was cut for a reason, but you kind of have to wonder how many different versions of this film could have been put together using that footage, and would it have changed the tone and made it better in certain areas instead of trying to sacrifice one for the other. I think that the stuff with Gore the God Butcher and Christian Bale's character,
That's his whole name?
That's his
God
whole name.
Butcher?
Yep.
Ooh.
He's an interesting character. They've adapted him from the comics pretty faithfully. And
Does he look like that?
yeah, he looks like that.
Okay.
For the most part, sort of.
What's his name? Gore the
God Butcher.
Bull.
Anyway, to me, that should have been the real heart of the story, and it's getting pulled away from it by the comedic aspects. You could have had a whole other film with Thor and the Asgardians of the galaxy that could have been a fun, trippy adventure that led into, Gore's story, because it's kind of obvious that there was more to that part of the story that got thrown away. There's obvious that there was more to Jane and Valkyrie's stories that got thrown away.
All right, Joel. So as I often say to you, let's not talk about what's not here. Let's talk about what is here.
Sometimes you have to talk about what's not there to get to what is there.
All right, what
at
is
the end
there
of the-
for you?
At the end of the day, what is here for me is I enjoyed the film while I was watching it. I need to see it again. I don't know that I want to see it again anytime, that quickly.
Right.
There were a lot of wasted opportunities.
No, so this is like going out for Chinese food. It's good while you're eating it, but an hour later you're hungry.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not Dark World, you know, toss away negligible. There's enough fun in there to you know, and then you guys have mentioned all that. You know, Russell Crowe is Zeus. You know, the
That's the end of the fun right there.
that's no, there were the stuff with the Guardians of the Galaxy was fun, and I think, you know, but there wasn't enough of it. Jane's storyline was interesting, but it didn't really go where it needed to go. You know, Valkyrie, as you said, you know, why was she even here at the end of the day?
Right.
I think part of what you have to look at, and I mentioned this earlier, and it's something Natasha really pegged into after we walked out of the movie, was we are getting this story. If you look at most of the other Marvel movies, we're getting an omniscient point of view. We're watching it from an overall point of view, whereas here we're getting this story from Korg. Is he a reliable narrator? You know, he may or may not be. So we're getting pieces and picks and, you know, bits and choices and stuff of what he wants to tell us. So I think going with that, I can forgive certain things, because
I think
Interesting.
Taika has too many projects on his plate and he needs to focus on
Oh, sure.
something, because this was very disappointing.
well, I yes, it was disappointing. I don't remember what I gave the Dark World at this point.
But a half star better than that.
It's, yeah, probably. So we're probably looking at about a 3 if I had to say so. So I probably gave the Dark World 2.5 stars.
Joel, what movie was parodied when he's talking to the children in the cave? When he's telling the story about Thor, I read somewhere that was taken directly out of another movie. That was a complete parody.
Yes,
Of
I
someone
read that in the
telling-
trivia too.
Which,
But I forget which movie.
when
Let me look
Korg
at the
was talking
trivia.
to the kids, or Thor was
It's like
talking to the kids, or Gore was
Korg.
talking to the kids.
Korg talking to the kids in the cave, telling the story of Thor.
Okay. I didn't read anything.
Amy, you looking it up?
Yeah, look it up, because I'm at a loss on this one.
Okay.
I did no research beyond, okay, I remember this from the comic books. I remember Gore from the comic books. I remember Jane's story from the comic.
So I looked up the
I got it.
Gore. He actually looks a lot more like Voldemort than he does in the movie.
Yeah.
They probably toned that down a little bit. Yes, Amy.
Yeah.
Amy?
The scene where
'Cause
Korg
he has no
addresses the
nose.
children in a cave about the deeds of Thor is a reference to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome,
Okay.
which has an identical scene about children hearing the film's central protagonists. Both were filmed
Okay.
in Australia.
Thank you.
Thunderdome. We don't need another hero.
Apparently.
All right. So all right, Joel, are you done? I'm sorry.
Sure. I got nothing else to say about this.
Yeah. I have
And
to-
your star wattage for the Dark World was 2.75.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Wow.
Again, I was in
And
a
you know,
generous mood that day.
this one we watched 29. This one is definitely in the lower third for me for sure.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what was the end credit sequence that I walked out on?
Oh, you don't want to talk about
Heimdall,
the first one
welcome.
The
with,
first one was we get to see Hercules.
right. And just so
So-
we're all aware, as of right now, there is nothing planned for Hercules that they have given away. This was the first
Right.
appearance or anything we've known about him. In the comic books, Hercules is, he's been an Avenger, he's been a Defender. He could wind up on,
Really?
yeah, he's been a major character since the early 70s, mid 70s.
Well, I mean, and of course, Russell Crowe not being dead.
Yeah.
It's like really, it's a comic book. Okay. Was that was that vest he was wearing a bulletproof, star-proof?
No,
lightning bolt
he's
vest?
just that powerful.
Yeah, and I'm
Jesus.
sure
God of gods.
it'll be interesting. Next week is San Diego Comic-Con, and Marvel's got a presence there this year again. So for the first time in a few years. So it'll be interesting to see what they wind up announcing, because I think they're in a little bit of a pickle with fans getting frustrated with where things are not going. And
I mean, how many have been in phase 4 already? I'm like, well, let's get to a story, shall
yeah,
we?
I think they're going to start piecing that together. So I think, in a week or two, we'll have a better idea of where things are going, and maybe there will be a Hercules,
Maybe
Century
there's no
Fox
story.
project.
They're just
Hercules,
Hercules.
Hercules.
Maybe
Is
there'll
our-
be no story.
And we're still in phase 4, aren't we? Because
Oh,
I was
yeah.
talking to Nan the other day. She's like, no, we moved to 5. But I said, I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, we don't know what the end of phase 4 is just yet.
Hmm.
Movie wise, we know that we're getting Black Panther 2 in November, and then next year it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians 3, The Marvels, which is the Captain Marvel / Miss Marvel sequel. And then after that was supposed to be Fantastic Four, but that's in limbo right now because the director left. So, and we don't even know if that's the end of phase 4. So,
It's a big phase.
yeah, and then you have to throw in all the TV shows. Where do those
Yeah.
fit in? So
Yeah, I know.
it's crazy.
I started watching Miss Marvel. It's cute.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun show.
All right. So are we done?
Do you want to
The
know about the
final
end credit
sequence.
sequence?
Oh yeah, what was that? So what was the yeah, because we left. I was like,
Basically, Jane arrives in Valhalla and is welcomed by Idris Elba.
she's not dead?
Valhalla
She
is
is.
where all the dead gods, the dead
A
Norse gods.
paradise for gods.
So now she's
Valhalla,
a
New
god?
York.
Yeah,
The war.
So her dying cancer scene, who cares? She's alive again.
no,
So that whole thing got negated.
she's in Valhalla.
She's dead.
She's dead.
Valhalla is heaven.
It's heaven for the Norse
But
gods.
she's a god.
Yeah, but even when the gods
was-
die, that's where they go.
And we don't see gods from Valhalla.
We have not seen any gods. We haven't seen Odin would have gone to Valhalla. Frigga would have gone to Valhalla. The Warriors 3 would have gone to Valhalla.
Oh, so now we're gonna get a Valhalla movie.
Phase
Probably
5.
not. Yeah, phase
Phase
5.
Phase 5 is going to be Secret Wars. I'm telling you.
Secret Wars, and that's probably a comic book thing.
We can only hope. I don't know that, the Russo brothers have been talking about that's what they want to do, but
Secret Wars.
they're not attached to anything. And there's a lot of other people that need to be introduced into the MCU before we get to Secret Wars.
No, they'll just leave them out and just do
No,
Secret
they
Wars
can't
with
leave
people
them
they
out.
have.
They can't leave them out.
Yeah, Joel's right.
All righty, so they'll all be introduced in series 4. What is it? All right,
Phase 5.
wait,
Phase
so
Phase 5, phase 6 will be Secret Wars.
I'm going through a phase right now. All right, so Thor, Love and Thunder is only available in theaters. Don't waste your money. And next Monday, we watch another of Andy's choice. We're going to watch Caddyshack, which is available on HBO Max. I've never seen this movie. And if you want to watch it with us next week, you can watch it on HBO.
That's another okay
I'm
boomer.
not a fan of the silly comedies like that.
Oh,
You're
I
not-
would
you're-
never
you're-
watch this movie today.
You're not going to like it, Frank. But
Yeah.
it's in my collection.
That makes perfect sense.
It should be in everybody's collection.
Of stuff
Movies.
they bring to the
Of movies.
to the thrift store. Okay, the joke did not come quick enough. I'm
No.
sorry.
Frank, what is it?
Just call me Taika Waititi.
What does your shirt say?
I think we'll avoid that question and say, I'm Frank Gaffney. Watch a movie.
And also with you.
And the balcony is closed.